Hey, what's going on, guys? Dignal. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make the effect you have just seen on screen. I would like to preface this video by saying that I did just record this video and I forgot to press record. So I'm very fucking pissed right now. But yeah, with that being said, let's get right into the video. So as you can see, the only thing that I have got right here is my my audio that has been synced up. So let's go ahead and drag in the first clip right here. Now, the first thing I'm going to be covering with you guys is going to be the sort of intro. That is going to be the ident and the Blackbars, the rotation, and all of that good stuff. So first thing you're going to want to do is just mark out your beat, where you want your Twixtor to start, which should be right before the beat, and then your second beat right here. So I have marked this out. So if we listen back to this, we want the slow-mo to start right here. So with the slow-mo starting right here, we're going to want to just drag this back until the character has an unobstructed view of the enemy and the shotgun is out. So that's going to be right there. Now we just drag that back. So now what we're going to want to do from here is drag in our ident. Now the ident that I am using will be in the description. It is unfortunately paid because I did not make it. However, you can just use your own, which works as well. But this is unfortunately paid. It's not an ad or a sponsor or anything like that. It's just something I found when I googled like Overedit ident or something. So yeah, it is what it is really. But yeah, from here, just go ahead and trim the ident so that there's nothing like sticking out right here, and make sure that there is enough room right here. So now what you're going to want to go ahead and do is obviously, first of all, just make sure that this is set to straight unmatted right there. And now we have that going out. And what you're going to want to do here is press U right here at the end of the ident and split that and split that. Go ahead and delete the audio track. And now what we're going to go ahead and do is you can see that we are on 313 here. And what we're going to want to go ahead and do is split this to a third so that we can slow down the background here. Now, the way we're going to do this is we're going to divide this frame count by 3. So 313 is going to go back. So 2/3 back, or a third back of that is going to be 1 frame. And then a third of 13, which is going to be like 4. So we're going to go 1 second and 4 frames back, which is going to be 209. So we go to 209 here. We split the clip right there. And we delete the first 2/3 right here. And then the last third, we drag this all the way back here. And then we go into our video effects tab. And search for Twixtor Pro. You can go into copy my settings right here. And you go into the speed percentage tab and you set in 33.3. And you just drag that out after that. And there should hopefully not be any issues with that, as you can see. If you can do the same thing if you want to make the the Twixtor faster or slower. It really does depend on what you want. I'll actually use another example here. All right, so another example, let's say we want to do 10%. So if we do 10%, we're going to have to count up the frames. So that is going to be 193 frames, and 10% of that is going to be 19 frames. So we're going to want to go 19 frames backward, which is going to be to 54 right here. Then we'll split it right there, split that right there, drag that up here, go to Twixtor, drag that in, and set this to 10. Now we can just go ahead and drag this out, and there should most likely not be any hitches right here. As you can see, there should not be any skip frames here, which is great. And that is essentially all we need to do. We have the ident coming out right here. So now what we do is we make a new video track. We go up here, we're going to insert generated media, and we go to Vegas solid color, add OK, and we just drag that down to black and press, well, whatever that button is. Now we split it at the end of the ident. Oh, Jesus. Okay, that started playing. So we click on the cropping tool, we enable mask, go to the first frame, click on the rectangle tool, and halfway, at the halfway point, which is going to be around right there. It's going to be that one, right? That's the halfway point, I think. It should probably be the halfway point. So once we have found that, we just extend this all the way out to the right here. Now, you could fuck it up. It's very easy to fuck it up. It is what it is. Just make a line and then just make sure it's like somewhere along the center. So for me, that's gonna be like right there. That's fine. And we set that to minus so that we can only see what's through here. And now we just go to the end and we drag that out so that it just touches the edges right there. Just make sure that they are very even. And we set this to smooth. And now this should open, and I think we should actually put this to fast, because what we want is we want the Blackbars to open up just enough for the ident to make its way in there. And that is what it looks like it's doing right here. So that is all fine and dandy. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is go into our video effects tab once again, and we're going to search for lens blur. And we're just going to drag default on to the track with the Twixtor, the bottom track right here. And we don't want that much blur, so we're going to set the iris scale to like 8. And we're going to increase the gamma by a whole lot, maybe even decrease the iris scale to like 5. Just something like that. And after that, we just go to tint, and we tint it lightly in the shade of the ident. So we just drag the scale up until we see like pink, and then we slightly tint it, ever so slightly. Like literally the slightest like movement will be noticeable because of the blur and the gamma. And after that, we can add some slight pink glow as well if we do want to do that. So obviously very, very small, and we drag that out slightly. And after that, we should be good on the item. And now what we're going to go ahead and do after that is we are going to want to do the Twixtor right here. So let's go ahead and delete the audio track that is right here. And this should come out like here. So if the Twixtor starts here, we're going to obviously search up Twixtor. Drag this on here. We're going to want to add a keyframe there. Go 1 frame forward, set that to 40. And now we go 4 frames backward from where we want the impact to happen, which is going to be on the beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4 frames backward. Add a keyframe right there. Go here and drag this up to pretty much full. And I'm going to explain the reasoning for that. So we go forward a bit. And the reasoning for that is that we want it to be in like this finished motion when we stop. And this won't really be noticeable because of the buildup. So normally in like a normal RGB highlight, this impact would be absolutely awful, or this velocity. But because of the buildup, no one's actually going to notice anything, which is great. And now what we need to do is we need to drag this out to the next marker right there. We just drag it out. We go to the end and we set this to 15%, and we set that to slow. And now we should be good to go on that. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is literally just render all of this out. So just render them out in the highest quality settings, render them out in the settings that you would use if you were rendering the finished video. So yeah, do that, and I will see you guys when it's done. Alright, so when this is done, just go ahead and drag this on top and go ahead and delete the audio track. Now, I would recommend that you just mute these bottom 2 or these bottom video layers, because it's going to make it a lot easier for you to actually pre-render this. So what you're going to want to go ahead and do is just go to where the ident ends, go back 20 frames, it's going to be right here, split it right there, go into the presets that are in the description and drag on the Overedit beat check 20F calmer. And that is just going to get rid of it in like a good way. As you can see, it's going to do that. And now, the second thing we're going to do is just head into our video effects tab and search for blur mode curves. Now, go ahead and drag default on here, set the Z distance to 0.85, and set the rotate to like 6. Or actually set it to 5. Now go and keyframe those and go to where we split it, and then set that to 1 and 0 respectively. Now go ahead and control click both of these and set that to a smooth fade. Now we're going to just fade this in a bit, just like so. And we're going to get something like that, which is very cool. And now, what we're going to go ahead and do is actually mask this out. So what we can do is we can either just press Control and manually mask this, like the character right here, from these to the. It's going to be like 20 frames or something. Not really that hard, but in my pack for this specific clip, I do already have the rotoscoped version of this. So that's what I'm going to be using today. So I'll just drag that in here and delete the track. Now just go ahead and do that. And obviously if you're manually masking, you don't really need to be doing this naturally. But yeah, so just make sure that you do have it matched up correctly. If you do have like a beat shake or something underneath, I would recommend that you just like disable it. for the time being. But yeah, that is matched up perfectly, and we can just do that. We can split that, and we can go ahead and go down here, and we can go ahead and make sure that the Twixtor does start here. We press S right there, delete the Twixtor from this middle part, press Control C whilst having the second part highlighted, and just press paste event attributes on the mask, and that should perfectly follow it. We can just drag it out, no issues, and that is going to happen. Now we can go ahead and press S right there, and we can just apply our impact there. I have given away a lot of free impacts in the past, so there should be plenty of those to choose from. I'm just going to drag the Overedit impact chill on this, because it's just a lot easier to deal with. And now we have that. So now what you're going to want to go ahead and do is just, let me go ahead and find the folder that I prepared here. We're going to want to go ahead and add our preset to this. So we just have this with our Twixtor, and we don't want that. So we're going to go ahead and just select this, press S right there, just save your project as well not, go to render as, go down to QuickTime 7, go ahead and copy these settings when you're rendering, and just render this out as a mask. And what this is going to do is it's going to preserve the transparent background whilst also integrating the Twixtor into the track. And that is going to allow us to add our mask glow to this, which is a very nice. So yeah, this should realistically only take a couple seconds. And in the meantime, I am going to try and find the folder that I saved the overlay in, which I have, and that's great. So now we just drag that on top, delete the track, and we can also delete the other roto because it doesn't really matter what happened to that. And now we have this without Twixtor. So what's essentially going to happen now is we just copy this preset onto here. So this preset is in the description, and it is going to be called the dpack character outline. And as you can see, it looks like this. So we just want to make sure to select our color in the inner color. So I'm going to make it like an aqua, sort of like that. And now just highlight these numbers, Control C and Control V them underneath, and it's going to look like that. And now what you're going to want to go ahead and do is go down into the description and drag in the overlay that is down there. It's going to look sort of like this. And initially, we're just going to go ahead and press reverse on this. It's going to be, where is it? Right there. Go to the end, hold Control on our keyboard, and drag this back to time stretch it. And now we just go to the end and do like that, and then we split the beginning. Now head into cropping. Just go and enable masking and make a rough rectangle that doesn't quite cover the edges. Go to feather both and feather type 25%. Now what this is going to do is it is going to basically just allow us to have these smooth sort of edges without really having to worry about any like weird cuts in the final product. So yeah, just make sure that everything is still right there, and we're gonna go up here and just set the compositing mode to screen. And now what you're gonna want to go ahead and do is drag another preset that is in the description onto this, and it is called the overlay recolorizer. So we just drag that on, and it'll automatically color it to whichever color you want, basically. So what this is doing basically is just adding black and white and then tinting it to the color you select here. Select literally any color you want, preferably the one with the mask overlay, or the same color as the mask overlay. You can actually go ahead and just copy the values from the mask by doing that, and then pasting that over here. So that's going to make them the exact same. And now you can go head over to glow and paste the exact same stuff as well. Now you can increase the glow if you want to naturally, so that is completely up to you. However, it can look weird sometimes, so completely up to you. Now once we have this, we drag this underneath. We go to the last frame, and we're just going to make sure, make sure that the position is right there on the character. And now we just delete the first keyframe right there. And this is why we wanted to crop the edges, because it can look a bit weird. So now we're gonna want to go ahead and go down here, split the track right there, and we're gonna want to go ahead and go into our video effects tab and search for tint. Now tint, drag default on. Just go to the last frame, or the second last frame, and select the darkest like the darkest thing you want to like the background to be. So we're gonna fade this in. This is what the darkest. This is gonna be the darkest point of the fade in. So this is gonna be like right there. Let's go ahead and just make sure we're happy with that. And just make sure to keyframe it right here. Drag that keyframe there, and then go to the first keyframe, and you're gonna make this significantly lighter. So it's still gonna be like, it's gonna be like that, I think, and that is all right with me. And after we have done that, we can just go ahead and well, what can we do here? Well, there's a couple things we can do. Firstly, we can add like I don't know, some extra overlays if you want. This is your chance to do that. You can add a whole bunch of stuff. We're gonna do the sound effects later, so don't worry about that. But yeah, everything is good on my end right here. Looks kind of cool. So now what we're gonna go ahead and do is render all of this out. Make sure you do get this first initial part right here with it as well, because we will need some room at the start. And just go ahead and render this out in the highest quality you can. Render it out in the quality you would render your finished product in. And once you have done that, I'll get back to you. Alright, now that the render is done, just go ahead and drag this on top of the area you have rendered out. Go ahead and delete the audio track, and just go ahead and press S here for convenience sake. Now go ahead and split it on the impact right there. Go ahead and just go ahead and Control C this right there. And go ahead and make a new video track and paste that on top. Add that width, and you're gonna want to go ahead and just like go a bit like out, like sort of here, and you're gonna want to leave it like that. Now what we want to do is we want to add this stuff right here. Intense build up 30 frames. So we're gonna want to back off 30 frames here. So it's at 352. Let's go to 322. It's gonna be like right there. So now we drag that on top, and we're gonna get this, which is obviously a lot better than we had before. And that's very cool. So now what we're gonna go ahead and do is go into a video effects tab down here in the part that we've already rendered out, and we're gonna want to save the darkest point of the tint as like, let's say 0918 maybe. Save that, and let's just go ahead and search up tint again, and you're gonna want to drag this on top of this. So as you can see, the background shouldn't really change at all. And this is good. This is what we want. Next, go ahead and go into cropping, enable mask, and just make like a decently sized oval in the middle. Should be sort of like that. Now go ahead and set this to negative, set the opacity or the feather to both, and then this to 50. And go ahead and go to the end and just drag it out and make sure that the entire circle is covered. Next, go ahead and go to the first keyframe, set this to fast, and after that, everything like this should just be... there should be some sort of like boom to it. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying really, but yeah. So after that, we should be good to go. You can add some other overlays. You can add like some wave or something. Doesn't really matter. But now to the fun part. So I have got a clip ready here that has already rendered out its Twixtor. Basically, what you want to do here is you just gonna want to follow the exact same step as before with the Twixtor on this clip. So just go ahead and follow that on another clip. You don't need to mask this one. So just go ahead and do it to any clip, and I'm just gonna go ahead and drag this in for you guys. So just drag this on top like that. I'm gonna go ahead and delete the audio track for convenience sake, and I'm gonna want to disable that. So now we just line this up with the second beat that we should have right here, and there should be like an ending here. And we line this up, and it should be like here. So now you trim this down 1 minute. So if it says 0534, we're gonna want to go to 0434, just there, and then we split it. And now we just drag on a single preset, and everything should be done. So that preset is going to be the DPEC right slide small large MK. So as you can see, we do that, and then obviously we split it on the kill, and we just drag in our impact again. And now if we pre-render this, you can see right here. Now what you could do to this theoretically is add some rotation to it. It's just like, it's really hard in Vegas. Like, it is such a pain in the ass for some reason. Like, you just cannot get it to fucking go straight. It is a nightmare. Trust me, I tried this. I even tried it on After Effects, and it's so much easier. But yeah, literally doesn't work. Now, if you're curious in how I actually did this, I manually keyframed it, which is very nice. Yeah, I had a lot of fun doing that. So basically, now you can just go ahead and drag some drop shadow on the back of that, or something. Up to you. You can also drag like a rainbow thing. Let's see if I have anything. I should have a rainbow glow. That really should be applied behind. So if you want to make like a rainbow glow, you just duplicate the track and you drag it onto the track behind, and then suddenly you have something like that. Now I'm not really a huge fan of this, honestly, because it looks a bit forced. But that is an option that you have. And as you can see, it comes in right there. So yeah, that is pretty much it for all of the effects. Now let's move on to the sound effects, and there aren't actually that many. So there should have been 2 sound effects in the description. One would have been called the what would it have been called? One's called the all-in-one buildup, which we're gonna want to put on the first clip right here, and we just sort of sync it up like that. And the second one should have been called the pump impact, which we can just add to it, like at the bottom track right there. And alright, that should be like that. And the second impact should just be like a normal impact, which should be like that. And we can also add the Dignal bass swoosh to the transition here. But that is, once again, completely up to you. And yeah, that is pretty much it, really. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, like down below, comment, subscribe, all the good shit. And I'll see you guys in a couple days, and peace.